Bryan Danielson turns heel on AEW Dynamite. Plus, an AEW talent suffers injury during Dynamite, and the full WrestleMania Night 1 card has been revealed. Stay tuned for the news. Fraser, it's official. Bryan Danielson hates his children. He's not going home after all. So on AEW Dynamite last night, we saw Moxley, Cesaro, and Wheeler Yuta of the Blackpool Combat Club motion to attack Kenny Omega in the ring following his IWGP US title match against Jeff Cobb. Very good match as well.
Yeah, very good.
Danielson ran down to the ring to disrupt their plans, but he seemingly comes to the aid of Kenny Omega. It looks like he's going to be on the boys' side, and then he hits him with a big old running knee to attack Kenny Omega and lead to the beatdown from the Combat Club, and then this solidifies his heel turn in the process.
Yeah, he's a nasty boy. The Blackpool Combat Club surrounding the ring, it did look like he was going to come to the aid of Kenny, and then as you said, he hits the knee in a label lock, and as the rest of the Blackpool Combat Club just beat him down. It's
this is not what I was expecting, because obviously we got the really heartfelt promo from Danielson after his match with MJF, after the Iron Man match with MJF, and we were like, okay, because the promo itself, extremely emotional. He was talking about obviously all these injuries and everything that he's got, and we thought, okay, he's going to take some time out now to sort of just go away and look after himself and spend time with his kids and his family. That's not his real family is the Blackpool Combat Club.
That's where the real home is, Blackpool.
So this is obviously sort of Danielson distanced himself from the BCC since Regal's departure, and then that's when we sort of saw Moxley, Yuta, and Cesaro sort of lean towards the heel side of things, whilst Danielson sort of remained a babyface in his program with MJF. But now, it looks like he's fully back within the faction.
Kicking people's heads in.
People's heads in. I think this was actually quite a good turn. I enjoy heel Danielson. I think heel Danielson's great, and I think heel Danielson and heel Moxley together also are like, it's just a combination, dream combination for me.
Absolutely. He's so good at whatever role he plays, and having him as a heel does sort of boost that side of the card just a little bit, because right now we're seeing quite a lot of face talents. You've got your Wardlows, you've got your Jungle Boys, you've got your Darby Allins, you've got Kenny Omega, Hangman Page, all on the face side of things, and they're kind of lacking in heels apart from the Blackpool Combat Club. So having him added back to the faction as a naughty man,
naughty boy.
Oh, I'm excited for the matches that we can get, and him just being vicious.
Absolutely. But Kenny Omega wasn't the only person that the Blackpool Combat Club attacked last night, because an AEW talent has indeed suffered an injury during last night's show. So it was Don Callis was legitimately hurt during a backstage angle on last night's Dynamite. So PW Insider reports that Callis was hurt when the BCC attacked Callis and Hangman Page. We got some little promo bits last night. Callis and Omega talking together. Callis being like, look, what happened last week? Hangman had a hold of my hand when he let go. He's a powerful boy. I fell down. Yep. You shouldn't have thought it was all Hangman that punched me. Why were you thinking that, Kenny? Sort of planting some more seeds there.
Yeah,
within that storyline.
Gaslighting him.
Yeah, he is. He's completely gaslighting him. And Callis was like, I'll go and talk to Hangman Page and apologize for everything, which he does go and do so. However, during this segment, the Blackpool Combat Club show up, and then Don gets struck with a really stiff forearm from John Moxley, and he falls to the floor, and it looks as though he hits his head in the process, because we see the camera pull out after the segment, and Callis is he is dripping blood.
Busted open.
He's busted open. Me and Owen,
a crimson mask.
Yeah, me and Owen were looking at it, and we were thinking like, at first, was it like the slap? Because Moxley slaps Callis across the face. He's still got his glasses on, and we're like, does it like cut the bridge of his nose? But from PW Insider here, looks like he hit his head in the process of going down. PW Insider don't know the severity of the injury or if it'll lead to any time miss.
Hopefully not. I mean, he took a stiff hit.
He did.
Looked brutal. So hopefully he doesn't have to miss any time. But that was. It added to the viciousness and the violence that the Blackpool Combat Club is willing to deal, especially against folk that aren't ring trained. Just as long as you don't touch Tony Schiavone.
Don't touch him.
Don't touch Tony.
Leave him out of this. I think this sort of, as you were saying, I think this sort of adds to the storyline. Like, it sucks that he's got legitimately injured for sure. But yeah, I think it leans into the storyline. I feel like we're eventually gonna get Hangman and Kenny coming back together, but Don Callis is somehow in the middle of this, trying to turn things around. It's really weird.
Because he's making so much money on Kenny Omega as a single star.
It's true, but still at the same time, it feels like he's trying to turn something on its head somehow and make Kenny doubt himself.
A little puppet master.
Yeah, which I'm really intrigued to see how this goes. I'm really looking forward to this now. Sticking with AEW and going from someone who might miss some time to someone who has missed time. He's gone. We don't know what's going on with one CM Punk. However, AEW's Jim Ross was speaking on the Grilling JR podcast, and he revealed that he thinks CM Punk will be back in AEW. He said, "I'm one of those guys that believe he will be back. AEW needs CM Punk because of his star power. Controversy creates cash, and he's certainly controversial. I'm a big fan of Phil. We'll see how it works out. I'm optimistic and positive."
Which is wild, considering just this past week we've had CM Punk put on his Instagram an Instagram story and a rant about AEW, John Moxley. You've got digs at numerous people in AEW, and the fact that someone quite high up, such as JR, who's probably got a lot of influence backstage because he's JR. He's worked in AEW since pretty much its inception. It's strange to see him go, I actually think he's coming back. Obviously it's not, he wasn't saying this on an AEW broadcast or whatever. This was his own podcast, but having someone of that stature and name be like, I'm a big fan of Phil, I'm optimistic that he's coming back is a positive sign for all you CM Punk fans out there.
For sure. I mean, I feel like JR has something there when he says controversy creates cash. I feel like it does. A lot of people would tune in to see CM Punk come back to the company, but whether that would be at the detriment of the AEW locker room, and if in the long run maybe it wouldn't really be a great thing for the morale.
There's a lot of things that need to be ironed out before CM Punk is able to come back.
Definitely.
In terms of the backstage morale, as you said, the relationships that he has with other people, and some public apologies on a lot of different sides need to happen.
Well, I mean, I guess we'll see what happens with that one. We've been saying that for 6-7 months.
I'll be tuning in regardless.
Me too.
But if Punk comes back, I'll be very excited.
So we're going to go from AEW to the other side of the fence. It is officially the road to WrestleMania, Fraser.
But at the end of the road,
it's almost the end of the road. Yeah, I can't believe how fast it's been. However, before we get there, we have the Hall of Fame, and this is a nice little bit of news actually. WWE announced on the bump yesterday that the late referee Tim White will be honoured with the Warrior Award at this year's Hall of Fame. So obviously White passed away last June at the age of 68. His career with WWE spanned 24 years and was spent preliminarily as a referee, but he also worked as Andre the Giant's assistant in 1985 too. A shoulder injury he suffered in another Hell in a Cell match between Triple H and Chris Jericho in 2002 would lead to the end of his referee career, unfortunately. He returned to officiate Jericho vs. Christian at WrestleMania 20, but re-injured his shoulder on the 3 count and just permanently retired after that. This is really nice to see. I believe, and I might be wrong, so please do correct me in the comments, but I believe we haven't seen a referee introduced into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, it feels overdue.
It absolutely feels overdue, and Tim White is, I think, synonymous with so many legendary matches, like the first Hell in a Cell and everything as well, between Undertaker and Mankind. So this is really, really awesome to see.
He just seems like a really, really nice guy. It's really, really nice to see that they're doing this. The Hall of Fame this year is shaping up quite nicely.
Oh, it is, for sure.
I'm excited to see all the speeches, as much as like we've had some funny ones in the past with Mr. T.
Yes.
We've had some folk being attacked like Bret Hart. I'm excited to see how this year's goes down.
Is Ray gonna get attacked this year?
I hope he does.
Who knows?
Dom beats him.
But speaking of WrestleMania, apparently the Night 1 card has been revealed, Fraser. So Fightful contributor at Colesby Betts tweets, confirmed for hashtag WrestleMania Night 1. Do you want to run down that card?
Run it down the card. So Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley. They've got Bianca Belair versus Asuka. Austin Theory versus John Cena. Brock Lesnar versus Omos. Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul. Trish Stratus, Becky Lynch, Lita versus Damage Control. And the men or women's Fatal 4-Way Tag Team Showcase match on Night 1.
Now, though, this means that Night 2 will probably look like Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes, Gunther versus Drew Truth versus Sheamus for the IC title, Edge versus Finn Balor, Rey Mysterio versus Dom Mysterio, and either the men or women's fatal four-way tag match. That would mean, though, that the Usos versus Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens would be on night 2, but that doesn't necessarily make any sort of sense, but neither does both the women's title matches being on the same night either, as the source states, unless they really do 8 matches on night 1 and just 5 on night 2. I don't know if they would do that.
I can't see that happening. I feel like you would split it fairly evenly, have a women's championship match on each night. You have the tag team title split on each night. You know, so you have Sammy and Kevin have their big triumph on night 1 and then night 2.
Think so.
But also I could see them doing that on night 2 and having that entire night be the downfall of the bloodline.
Could be it. It could kick off the night, and then we see sort of the dissension, little backstage segments and stuff leading towards that.
Has Roman been distracted, backstage?
Yeah.
Does he make it to the ring?
I definitely feel like that needs to be. I feel like there needs to be a decent gap between the 2 matches so we can have that little bit of doubt being planted in Roman's mind and we see it play out throughout the evening.
Absolutely.
However, we will see very, very shortly because WrestleMania is drawing ever closer. We've got plenty of WrestleMania content, don't we? We've got pitches out on the channel already. We'll have live reactions. You'll see who the combination of people...
all weekend.
But live reactions on night 1 and night 2, youtube.com/cultaholic/live for that one. You'll have WTF moments with Ross for both nights as well, and also what's happened with Jack the Jobber 2. But until then, that has been News 1. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you in the next one. Until then, we'll see you in a bit. Toodaloo.
Toodles.
Bye.